Here we are then, so we're back with another episode. As always, it's your freedom lifestyle coach, Callum Luke Webber. And if you're an entrepreneur and you want to create freedom, the number one skill you need to go all in with right here, right now, is learning how to sell. So I just want to say I'm very grateful for you investing your time into this channel, and make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be coming with you with 3 episodes every single week to help you become a confident closer so you can make more money, so you can go out there and live your freedom lifestyle. So let's get into this today. And I just want to start off by saying you could be really good at sales and still make no money. You could be really good at sales and still make no money. How many people do you know that are really good at building rapport, really good at building trust, really good at talking, really good at conversations, but then they actually struggle to close the deal? And there's a big difference between selling and closing. You know, when you're selling, you're selling your services, you're having amazing conversations, you're getting connected, you're building that trust. But you could do all of that, and then you could get to the end, and they could be ready to go, but you bottled the close. You bottled the close. So make sure that you stay tuned in this episode. Make sure you save this one, because what I'm going to be sharing with you today has took me over 7 years of being involved with sales, investing over £50,000 into mentors and coaches. All of that compounded has gave me so much insight when it comes to easily being able to close deals with confidence. And I'm going to be sharing that with you right here, right now. So as always, I strongly recommend, if you're obviously driving, then congratulations for utilizing your time. But if you are at home, make sure you're in a distraction-free zone. Make sure you've got your notebook ready, because what I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to help you close more deals, make more money, so you can go out there and live your freedom lifestyle. So number one, when it comes to the close, the difference between someone that's a confident closer and someone that isn't, that can't close the deal, comes down to confidence. How confident are you when it comes to the close? Do you get to the end of your pitch? You've had an amazing conversation with someone. You know you could change their life. They know that you've got their pains. You've got their pains come up throughout the conversation. You know that they need your help, and that's why they're sat with that call with you. But then you get to the close and you absolutely bottle it. And that the reason being is down to confidence. It's down to confidence. And I want to share something with you right now. Is 90% of business owners and sales reps, they do a whole pitch for 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, and then they share how much the investment is. And usually what will happen is, when you don't let your prospect know how much your investment is, usually what happens is, over time, you're going to start building up the fact that you're going to be scared about letting them know. You're going to be scared about letting them know, because I've been there before where I've been worried about letting them know how much the investment is. If you're worried about how much the investment's going to be, then think about them. And not only that, throughout your whole pitch, let's say you do an hour's pitch, you could get to the end of that hour's pitch and you might realize that they're not even financially qualified. They might have no money. They might be in minus money, and they physically cannot commit to your investment. So not only have you wasted an hour of their time, you've also wasted an hour of your time, which you could have used on following up people, having another call, doing some content, doing social media content. You could have used that hour so much better, rather than wasting an hour of energy into putting all your energy into a pitch to then realize you couldn't even close them anyway. So that's why this is a life hack. I want you to write this down when it comes to closing deals, is share your investment before you pitch. So if I take you through the whole process, you'll start off when you meet them, you'll get to know them, build some rapport, okay? Ask them powerful questions. Be like a doctor, okay? Ask them questions. Get to know their pains. Get to know why they're on that call with you. Get to know what they want. Get to know their desires. You're then that solution. If you're confident with the solution, you let them know that you're confident that you can change their life, and then bang, you share your investment with them straight away. Because what happens when you do that, it builds serious conviction, it builds confidence, and not only that, it's a psychological factor. Because rather than waiting for the whole pitch to then share the investment, the whole time you've been pitching, they've just been sat there thinking, so how much is this going to cost me? And they're not actually going to be listening to you. Whereas, if we rewind back to the start of the pitch and you share how much the investment is straight away, you're coming in with confidence, you're coming in with energy, that you have that presence about you that, yes, it's worth that. And they might be scared. They might be scared about whatever figure you say. And whether you say it at the start of the pitch or whether you say it at the end of the pitch, they're likely to have that fear pop up anyway. So you're better off getting the elephant out the room, because then what's going to happen is, when you let them know how much the investment is, let's say they thought, oh, that seems quite a lot. Now you can pitch them. Now you can sell them on the reasons why it's worth that. right? You get to the end of the pitch. At the start, they might have been scared, but by the end of the pitch, they've put their full attention into listening to you now. They've listened to everything you shared because they're like, okay, so why is it worth this? They're going to be interested. They're going to start asking you some more questions. When you notice throughout a pitch, your prospect's asking you lots of questions, it shows that you're onto a winner. It shows that they're really interested. Whereas, have you ever been in a pitch before? I have, where I've been going through the pitch and I'm like, are these even listening to me? Are they even interested? And I realised it's because they didn't know how much it was. That's all they wanted to know. They want to know, how much is this going to be? Then you sell them. Then you close them at the end, okay? It's a psychological factor. And I want to share one more little bonus hack with you right here, right now. When you share your investment, always start with the highest investment. If you're on a call with someone, let's say you offer a service for £10,000 as an example, and then you also offer a service for £1,000. Start with the £10,000 one first, all right? Because whatever you share, whether you shared the £1,000 or whether you shared the £10,000, whatever you share first, they're going to instantly have a bit of fear. So you're better off starting with the highest one first and then ski down slope to say the £1,000 product. The reason this works so well is, number one, you might be sat there with someone that finds 10 grand not a lot of money. Whereas if you believe that if you had a mindset that they might have thought it was a lot of money and you started with the lowest investment first, then you went up to 10 grand, they might not be ready to do the 10 grand because they've heard the other product first. Whereas if you start with the highest, the worst case scenario, you realise that this isn't the right fit for them. So then cool, then you take them down to the £1,000. And the powerful thing about this is, let's say you have a prospect that would usually find like a £1,000 product expensive. Because you've started with the higher investment of say £10,000, that £1,000 is now going to actually sound cheaper. So I'll actually give you a real life example of how that works on me. So I run the Freedom Lifestyle podcast. I interview 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure entrepreneurs. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure, if you haven't yet, make sure you check that out and subscribe, because it's the perfect, they're about 20 to 30 minute episodes. It's the perfect content to listen to whilst you're driving, whilst you're on a walk. So I strongly recommend checking that out. But I always invest in mentors. I've currently shared with you guys already that I've invested over £50,000 into mentors and coaches, which is pretty rare for someone in their 20s. But it's the reason why I've been able to create this freedom and be able to take my laptop and phone anywhere in the world and make money and make an impact, so I can and also live my freedom lifestyle at the same time. But it was actually funny. So I got an ad come up for podcasts. For podcast help, because at the time, like, I never knew about podcasting. I didn't really know how to grow it. I just knew I wanted to do one, and I got an ad for a podcast coach. And what happened is I had a call with him, and they offered one-to-one service, and it was 12 grand. And look, at that time, to me, 12 grand to invest in podcast coaches right then, at that moment, wasn't the right move for me yet. So I said no, because you've got to make strong decisions. Don't be someone, especially if you're in sales or you're a business owner, when you're in a sales situation, okay? Now, this is some serious psychology I'm helping you out with right here, right now. When you're in a sales scenario, don't be that person that says they need to think about it. Don't be that person that says they need free quotes. Don't be that person that says, I need to speak to my partner. Don't be that person. The reason being, right, even if you wanted to do that, when you do that, when you consistently do that, you're going to notice that all your prospects are going to do that to you, and you're going to then struggle to overcome objections. That's the reason why now I make quick decisions. Yes, no. I make it fast. I move quickly, because I've interviewed a lot of millionaires and multimillionaires, and I've studied a lot. And there's a direct correlation between the more successful someone gets, the quicker they're making decisions. Even if that decision was wrong, they've moved quick, okay? And then if the decision was wrong, then you're going to learn from it anyway, so then you can level up. But moving slow and thinking about things is holding you back. It's holding entrepreneurs back. So going back to the story about with the podcast coaches, so it was 12 grand for the one-to-one. And at the time I was like, nah. And a few months later, they offered me their coaching. They offered me their podcast course, and it was their first launch, and it was like £4,000. About £4,000 it was in dollars when it first come out. And I can vividly remember thinking, that sounds worth it. Because their one-to-one was £12,000, it actually made their course of say £4,000. It made that seem less. It made that be like, that's a no-brainer. Even though, to an extent, £4,000 is still, a decent investment into personal development. But because they started at 12 grand, When they went down to 4 grand, I was like, that is a no-brainer. Sign me up. Let's go. And that's the power of what you can use with psychology in sales, okay? And number 2 point, when it comes to closing the deal, okay? So always assume the close. So many business owners and sales reps, what happens is they ask questions, and I learned this from my mentor, Matt, is they ask questions like, would you like to go ahead with this, right? Would you like to go ahead with this? Would you like to subscribe to my channel? Like the word would you like? It brings no into play, okay? It's either yes or no, okay? And of course, some people are going to say no to you, even if you assume the close. However, when you assume the close, so rather than would you like to go ahead, right? You could do something like, when are you getting started? Tuesday or Wednesday, what works best for you? Boom. So now they're not deciding between yes or no. They're now deciding between Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Can you see how this works? You always got to give people options to make them feel like they're in control, okay? You give them an option, they get to pick. Okay, but if you give them the option of would you like to go ahead, yes or no, you're giving them an option to say no. Whereas when you assume the close, it's that confidence energy. Even just by, and you'll notice it right now, write this down, make sure you do this. Start moving forward, getting rid of would questions. Because when you'll notice if you slip up and say a would question, you'll notice your energy drop. It's a different energy. A would is a bit of a scarcity question of uncertainty of whether or not they're going to do it. Whereas, a 5 W's and a H, who, what, where, when, how, these type of questions, it shows assumption, it shows confidence that they're going to do this. And the thing is, right, with your prospects, they want to do a lot of these things. They want to do a lot of these, they wouldn't be on a call with you if they didn't want to do it, but they might just be a bit scared. And if you're scared, then they're not going to buy. So you need to be that presence in that room with confident energy that you're going to assume the close because you know that they need it and they've sat there for half an hour telling you that they need it. Now it's time to go in for the close, but be confident with that close, okay? But look, as you can tell, this training right here, right now, watch this on repeat because I want this to sink in with you because this will absolutely change your life when it comes to confidently closing deals so you can go out there and create your freedom and also impact lives because that's the thing with sales. If you've got a product or service that you genuinely believe in, you're going to be changing people's lives. And how amazing is that? Look, this episode's been absolutely incredible. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And look, there is one link in the description. Make sure you check it out. I've actually provided a free training and it's a 40-minute training. So if you're someone that has an attention span where you can't watch more than a reel for 30 seconds, like this is a deep dive training so that you can become a confident closer, so you can double your closing rate. So make sure you check that out. It's completely free. You do have to put your email in, but look, when it comes to emails, I'm not going to be bombarding you. I'm going to be giving you sales value so that you can start confidently closing more deals even more, okay? I'm excited to see you on the training. And other than that, hasta luego. Let's go.